I believe we're mostly ready to go. Daggy, is there anything you want to say before you start?
No, except hope you all will enjoy the run.
Sweet, good shit.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. And here we go.
All right, so welcome to the world of SSX 3. In this run, we basically have a split between race events, where you just race to the bottom of the track as fast as possible, and freestyle events, where you have to get a certain amount of points. So the entire objective of this run is to beat the requirements for in-game platinum medals, which vary from track to track and are listed in the game, but they won't show up in they won't show up as I finish. So what we'll do is we will let you know the requirements manually. So for this one, the requirement is 2:30.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly, 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
So we're starting off with Snow Champs, the most basic track, so we'll give you the most basic info. SSX, very simple, super fun snowboarding game from early 2000s. Simple things you need to know or that will help you enjoy this a bit more. More points means more boost. More boost means go faster. Simple. And two interesting things you're looking for. Grounded speed, 109 kilometers per hour is about as fast as you can be going. So, and 120 on rails and through the air. So if you keep an eye on that, if he's at that number, he's going pretty damn fast.
Yep. Terminal velocity is 120 kilometers an hour in this game, so.
So sweet. Talking a little about the boost system, keep it simple. You see on the top right of the screen, it's got Super Uber, the letters spelled out. Basically, if you do certain tricks, you get more, you fill that up more. So Super Uber, so he just does a trick there, gets a U. When you max that out, you get a minute of unlimited boost, which you cannot lose. So normally if you fall or reset, you lose your boost, but once you're in Super Uber mode, like so, you don't lose it.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, you start off having to do 4 tier 1 Ubers, which are really short, not really very dangerous, and then after that you have to advance to tier 2 Ubers, which are longer tricks, and you also have to do 5 tricks to fill up the bar. Moreover than that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the basics of the boost system, so it's not too complicated. The point system is very complicated, but we'll talk about that when there are points to worry about. At the moment, we're just racing. The first 3 tracks you'll see are the first basic ones. Coming into Metro City now, which is a pretty big favorite for a lot of people. Punching people gives you boost, for the record.
Yeah.
But Metro City is a very good example of the great level design in this game, where there's so many alternate paths. If you look to the right as he comes up on this rail, you'll see a separate path you can go. There's another one. That's a bridge, that's a third one. So there are so many different routes. But we've got something special on this one, which is warps.
Phone booths, in-game warps, placed there by the developers, which have there are 3 phone booths in this track, and only in this track. The first 2 have 2 different spawns determined by randomness. So I just got a good spawn on the first and bad spawn on the second, which is the most common occurrence, where the spawns on the first booth are 80% good and 20% bad, and the second booth is roughly 5% good and 95% bad. So an absolute nightmare when it comes to RNG on that one.
Ooh.
Absolute nightmare, especially when running ILs. It can be a pain to battle that phone booth.
Yeah, so the warps on these levels, there are a few smaller ones, select warps, which we'll talk about when we see one a bit later. But this is part of the no major glitches category, where you avoid the wormholes, which we may get to see later, I'm not sure. But the other main category is clean racing, where you avoid this. So if you'd rather not warp and, think this game is cool, there's a category for you already, so it's no problem.
Clean, there's no warping, and also clean is basically play the game as it was intended without anything that could be considered a glitch. So, right, that's Metro City done. And the third phone booth I did, which you saw was kind of a little bit shaky, but if you miss that after having gone for it, you lose a nice 17 seconds. So it's basically a run killer even for longer categories, like in the vein of this one. Generally always reset something like that. Right, so Happiness coming up next. This track is a so-called backcountry track, which we're actually going to be doing twice per peak, because the backcountry tracks are available both as race and freestyle events. So we're going to be doing them twice. And as you can see, they don't look particularly like most other events. That's because the in-game kind of backstory of this mountain goes that they started setting up events all over this mountain, but they didn't get around to the backcountry levels. So the backcountry levels are kind of wild, untamed nature still, and you can get a glimpse of what it's like with no not natural rails and no wacky buildings, no such like that.
Still a few random ramps though sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, most likely won't see stuff like that in real life, but it's no formations do some weird things sometimes. Oh, there's the Osprey. This is the main transport, main way of transport in the game, actually, where you fly with the Osprey, and the Osprey makes an appearance in a lot of tracks throughout the game. So, if you want to join in on a silly little game, see how many Ospreys you can spot during the run. I'll start you off. That was one. So yeah, just racing right now, trying to get to the bottom of this track as fast as possible. There we go, nice session 5 strat execution. And then after this, we've got our first freestyle event coming up, so...
It's really appreciating the bass on these headphones for this song.
Yeah. It's absolutely kicking right now. Just like this soundtrack was meant to be. This is a favorite soundtrack for many. It has kind of a rock, rap, and electronic vibe, and it really executes it well. It helps also that it was released kind of when that was popular.
Yeah, it's mixed as well, as you may notice, that sections of the songs are just looped, and then when you move on to new sections of the track and so on, new parts of the loop play, so the songs flow really, really, really smoothly. It's a bit cheating-y, I guess, and it means that the soundtrack you purchase is nowhere near the music in the game, but it doesn't matter. It's great.
So, by the way, I forgot to mention, the platinum medal for the city track was 230, and the platinum medal for that one was 245. Platinum for this one is going to be 1 million. 1 million points. So this is when freestyle becomes relevant, so... Luckily in single events, you start off next to a person, so you can punch them for instant boost, which also allows me to do Uber tricks right away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I have 4 Uber tricks by a certain point, and then I'll start doing so-called monster tricks, which Olvin can get around to explaining when we get there. For now, just kind of grabbing some tricks while trying to go fast. Going quite well so far.
Do you want to explain the combo system briefly while...
Yeah, exactly. So, you build... by the time you do that, you do certain tricks, and you build combo with those tricks. You'll see that the more you gain combo, the more the figures will give you bonus points if you do them. And that's pretty much it.
It's basically, yeah, so compared to many other games where the combo just literally multiplies the score you got by that number, in this game it's a bit different. So you can see the combo number just ticked there, but you get more bonus points for doing combo instead of just more flat points.
Yeah, exactly. And also about combo, it's fairly simple at the base level, but if I were to explain everything about combo to everyone watching right now, I would literally have to have you people watch a spreadsheet for 10 minutes. It is that complicated. There's even an element of randomness to combos too. So, here's the 10 times. These are super important and only in freestyle events like this one, so-called slopestyle events, where what you'll see is me kind of relying on these 10 times to get the points I need. So as you can see, I had about 450k before I got to the 10 times there. I got my remaining points at the 10 times by doing a double monster trick.
It was more 550k actually.
You can often use those just to win the event straight up.
Yeah.
If you're playing, so.
If you pull a single monster trick through a 10 times in most events, it's gonna be at least silver or gold, even on peak 3. So.
Yeah. So, monster tricks are specific tricks, right?
Oh,
That's new.
So, when you do very specific combinations of moves, such as a 540 with a certain grab or uber grab, you'll get a monster trick bonus, which gives you an obscene amount of bonus points, which allows you to blast through events very quickly.
Yeah. Monster tricks, specific combinations of tricks, as I said. The three main monster tricks I'll be doing are the Executioner, Stone Age, and the Alpine Star, where the Executioner gives you 30,000 points in addition, but takes longer and is slightly harder to execute, while the Stone Age gives you 20,000 bonus.
so Naya will see that he's actually building combo to have as many points as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
With the combo system that we just explained earlier.
So the thing is, if I didn't get combo here, what would happen is I would end up having to do a bunch of X jumps here. I would, instead of having to do, let's say, 4 jumps probably, I would have to do 6 or 7, which would lose a good bit of time when it was all said and done. Speaking of all said and done, I think that should be that it is.
And you may have noticed the combo counting up a bit strangely there, but we'll talk about that with a later slopestyle event, or a later freestyle event rather.
Yep, exactly. So here's the backcountry again. I was talking about how you'll see the backcountries twice. So here's the backcountry in freestyle. Oh, by the way, platinum medal for the track before the one we just did was 200,000 and 700,000 for the one we just did. 400,000 for this one. So here's the backcountry again in freestyle this time. The thing about the backcountry freestyle is that much of the time they're not really too different from doing the backcountry as a race. This one I do basically the exact same thing, except whenever there's a vacant moment I try to pull a trick, which I don't in the race event. But you'll see the next backcountry Rootless Jam in about 15 minutes from now. We will be doing some different things compared to the race. If you keep your eye on that, you will see I alter my path quite a bit.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about Mac? Why Mac?
Yeah, sure. So the reason why I chose Mac, there are minor differences between the characters. Nothing that really makes any character unplayable, but the first Uber tricks I did, the 4 first ones, the short ones, they are tied to your character and they can't be changed. The tier 2 Uber tricks are also tied to your character, but those can be changed. You buy those in-game for in-game money. But that's one big pro to using this character, or anyone else with the Mahogany Uber trick. He also has quite a favorable hitbox, since he's not too big of a character, but also not too small of a character, so he's kind of, hitbox-wise, he's a good all-rounder. Whereas some characters have a massive hitbox, and some characters have a tiny hitbox. There's a 12-year-old rider in this game, called Griff, you can play as, and he's 4'6", so he's got an absolutely minuscule hitbox. Yeah, just making our way down to the bottom of the backcountry. I've got the 400,000 points I need, and then we will move on to Peak 2, which... Hello, tree. Well, at Peak 2, obviously the game gets harder. The difficulty progresses as you move on, but we won't really notice much of that. Platinum medals. I practiced this run for quite a while now. I should be able to get a platinum medal on demand. So, back to racing for now. 3 more race events before there's more freestyle action.
So yeah,
for this
actually,
one it's 240.
And actually we use maxed out characters, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we use maxed out.
Absolutely.
Because the difference between a maxed out character and the basic character at 1 for every stats.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's pretty huge.
You can't really overstate it. You can do some interesting stuff with a level 1 character, but it is much harder and way less consistent as well. So using a maxed character it also makes the run faster and flow better, so it makes the run better too. So you might be seeing me do monster tricks during race runs when I don't really need to. That's purely for style and flair. I also play a lot of plain freestyle in this game where I just go for a high score, no time aspect included. So I'm quite well versed with the monster tricks as well. So I can just kind of pull them on demand and make the jumps look a lot sicker than they would.
So what you'll see a lot of on Peak 2 races are select warps. So in this game, like in many racing games, you press select on your pad, you reset back to the track where you were. It's a simple thing to keep you, playing the game rather than not. However, in SSX, you can confuse the game a little bit and select warp in places that will push you further forward up the track.
Exactly. We have basically mapped out the entire mountain to find beneficial select warps where you get warped further down the track. So
many of the times you're seeing a reset and it looks like he's possibly looks like he's messed up. It's all intentional.
Yeah, it is.
Warping forwards down the track. Some of these are pretty big time saves, and you'll see some hopefully coming up which are a good 7 or more seconds. Some of them are less than half a second, but in the interest of saving time, SSX is pretty well optimized, so they're all worthwhile time saves.
They are, yeah, definitely. They are. They're like...
There's an example of one there.
Yeah, there's an example of one. So that one saves about a second and a half. So it's classed as kind of like a medium to big one, that one. 206 after messing up that shortcut is pretty solid recovery. Although you do say, most of the time it's intentional, yeah, sure. But if you guys on stream see my demeanor just change, you know it wasn't intentional. You know I just messed up. Right, so that was 240 for that track. And it is 245 for this one. And now this is a very inconsistent skip coming up. It's not random, but it's based on going through a very particular patch of snow, thin snow as opposed to thick snow, where thick snow kills your momentum. So basically, I'm gonna throw myself at this turn and hope for the best. So we didn't get it, but we got over the railing. So you want to get all the way down to this section right. So you want to end up all the way down here normally, and then you just go across here. So that's one of the bigger skips in both this run and the all-peak race run we will be doing later as the incentive.
What do you call that skip?
That skip is plain and simple called Big Skip, and it's no real surprise why. You can see you basically jump for ages. The thing is, with Big Skip, is it's actually also the place in the game where you can get the most air. So you can get near 10 seconds of air time by doing Big Skip.
Whoa.
A little bit of an example of weird physics there. That happens sometimes if you've got your rail tricks kind of mistimed.
And here was the tube skip.
Yep, that was tube skip. Another really big select warp in this track. So doing tube skip saves about 4 seconds over not even going for it. And if you go for it and mess it up, you lose a nice 8 seconds, roughly. It depends on execution, but roughly 8 seconds.
Yeah, and there you saw a hand plant as well, which is always amusing to see in a speedrun.
It is. Trust me, it's faster. It might look very amateurish, but by doing tube skip the way we are, we don't have enough momentum to clear the fence. So the hand plant is the best option. Might not seem that way, but I promise you, it is.
Ooh.
Oh, hello. Okay, so here's the tree section of Intimidator. These trees are very perilous. You can hit them like that, but they can wipe you out, so compared to how this section normally goes, that's actually kind of good. So this tree can just simply fall on you and kind of pound you into oblivion, so good thing that didn't happen.
That section also is a good example of the openness on the maps here, that you can literally just go over all the tracks and just go past it, and the game's perfectly happy with you doing it.
Yeah, there's no checkpoint system or anything like there. Tends to be in newer games. By the way, the reason why I kind of don't go into the tracks instantly is because if you menu too fast and start a new track before the game is quote-unquote ready, then what's going to happen is the game will freeze. and you will have to restart your console. So, second backcountry coming up. There's not much going on here, so if we have any donations, feel free to read those.
Yes, we do have a $5 donation from Borari. Best of luck, Daggy. Go get them, sorry.
Doggy?
Daggy.
So, as you can see here, there's kind of this wind effect, if you will. It actually physically moves you, so I have to counteract the wind by pressing left. If not, it will actually push me off to the side and give me a bad angle towards the section I'm heading towards. So as you can see, this is another backcountry, completely uncharted wilderness. Still excellent track design, which basically is the norm for this game. This is a very pretty track. You also have natural hazards in this game. As you can see, we got rocks falling right now. We also went by an avalanche earlier, and there are more rocks falling and hazardous winds and all of that stuff.
Also cannons.
Also cannons, yeah. You can actually... we won't be doing it in this run, but what you can do is you can basically rail on a cannon and jump off it and get a sick amount of air. You can do a lot of monster tricks off it if you'd like, or just bust a sick trick otherwise. This game really is all about kind of just playing your way and playing with style and having fun doing it. It doesn't try to be anything it's not, it just kind of... It knows what it is and it fills that role perfectly. It's a fun snowboarding game that's that is fleshed out, but not so much that it seems realistic. And it just does its job well.
And the time for the platinum for this run, for this stage is, it's 2:35, I remember.
On Intimidator, 2:45.
Oh, on Ruthless.
On Ruthless, it's 3:15.
Yeah, 3:15.
This is probably... Hello. This is probably the easiest platinum to get in the game. At least race-wise. Probably in general, but at least race-wise, so... Alright, coming up on the end of this one. This is going to be the longest single track in the run, so... Since we're going to do this in about 2:40, that gives you a general metric of the track times we're working with. Right, that was Ruthless Race, Style Mile, which is my personal favorite track in the entire game, so excited to do this one. This is another slopestyle event, so you have the 10 times, but the 10 times on this one is right away. So I'm basically going to get 1,000,000 points in the first 30 seconds and just race to the finish. It's going to look quite cool. Well, first get a knockdown, obviously, because it's Vigo. Nobody likes Vigo.
I like Vigo.
You like Vigo, but you don't count. Right, so here is the 10 times. So I am going to try to do 3 monster tricks through that and get boom and done. 1,000,000 has been achieved, which is the goal for this track. So now it's just about going fast to the end, essentially if it was any other race. Simple as that.
So some of you may be a little confused and starting to wonder, how did he do 3 monster tricks in one jump? That's not actually intentional in the game. You can confuse the game into thinking you've kind of stopped completely, and it grants you the monster trick bonus and lets you do more than one in a jump. So that kind of thing is not normally possible. I don't know if you explain exactly how that works, but at least explain how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of in simple terms. It's a bit more advanced, but in simple terms, if you've finished a trick, normally there's a waiting time before you can do a new trick. But if you like tap a shoulder button or start another trick at the right time, you make the game think you're still going, like you're chaining a trick. And this basically makes the game think that since you're still going, you should be able to do movements right here and now. So you can start a new trick, in theory, instantly after finishing the last one. Literally the frame after. Of course, no human does that consistently, but
you try.
I try, especially in freestyle runs. Right, so this track is pretty straightforward. If there are any donations, feel free to read.
We do have a $10 donation from Ulti saying, "Hey Daggy, wishing you good luck with both the runs and hoping Ruthless and Metro City aren't too hard on you tonight. Hopefully my name isn't misread as a utile this time." And then we have a $15 from Fusion saying, "Hey Daggy, it's Fusion. Best of luck on the run, Super Uber."
Super Uber indeed. You know it. So that was 200,000 for that one. All of these short, big air tracks actually have 200,000 point requirements. Right. Next track. This is a super pipe. As you can see, there are 3 super pipes in this one. We're going to be going to the far one because it's laden with ice. So that allows me to not only jump higher, but also do more tricks in a jump. So.
And then again, he'll be building combo for around 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The objective is to arrive at 20 combo.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Thing is, in this track, there is no rail for you to get your combo on, so you kind of just have to jump up and down like that, while also doing a so-called board press. Oh, and by the way, board presses are the way I've been keeping my combo. So you see, sometimes my character will kind of do these board presses, which counts as a trick, so it keeps the combo going, as if it is any other trick. And that is very useful to carry a combo throughout the entire stage.
It's
And you do it all the time in freestyle runs. Well, that's not good. Not only was that a mistake, but it was also an upside down rail, which is actually a very rare and interesting occurrence in this game. So sometimes you can end up on a rail upside down. It's very difficult to land an upside down rail once in it. It's possible to do, but it's super tricky. And the thing is about upside down rails is it can happen basically any time you're heading towards a rail and your hitbox is kind of tilted upwards. So sometimes you even have little control over it. It just kind of happens sometimes.
You're literally upside down grinding with the top side of your board. It's really silly.
You literally are, yeah.
It happens sometimes.
It does, and it's frustrating sometimes.
So yeah, the thing to note with these monster tricks is every single one of these is an absolutely specific trick. The amount of rotations, the amount of flips, and the grab or the Uber trick is specific. Often the direction you go as well, and whether you're riding switch or not is also taken into account. So every single one of those monster tricks is very precise, like strangely precise, in fact.
There's absolutely no room for error.
Yeah, if you do one extra spin, even 180 degrees more or something like that, which in a game like this is very easy, you don't get the monster trick bonus. You just get a nothing trick, or just a normal trick.
And a little fun fact about the monster tricks, they're actually named after the bands that have their music over this soundtrack.
Yeah, which works really well for some bands, like the Executioners, but not so well for the Black Eyed Peas.
Not only that, but they also misspelled their name in game. It's actually Black Eyed Pea when you do the monster trick. So the Black Eyed Peas really drew the short straw on that one.
It's not a very good trick name, is it?
It's not. It's definitely not. There's also NERD, Fly or Die. So there are some odd trick names. Some band names fit this formula better than others. So here's Ruthless again, this time in freestyle form. And this time, if you remember what I did when we did this track as a race, you'll see me do things quite differently because I have to get 300,000 points from here to the end, which don't really come up naturally in the last 20% of the run, because there's basically no real chance to do any tricks of note until we're nearing the last 20%, so if I mess up even a single one of those jumps, that could be fatal. You gotta keep your mind straight and your nerves ice cool sometimes in this run. It is certainly a fun game and can be chill, but at the top level, it can be quite stressful, as any other speed game can. So what I did there was I realized I was not going to get the so-called waterfall skip, so I just kind of packed it in early and selected manually, put me back on the track.
Yeah, this game's shockingly hard to run as well. It's shockingly hard to play well at all. If you dust off your copy, if you've got one, and try again, you'll see what I mean. It takes a little bit longer than you'd probably want to get good again.
I mean, he makes it look easy, but playing it on a PS2 at least is just extremely complicated. Because you have to master all the tricks and the exact combination of buttons you have to make for the different monster tricks. For, like, for example, for the SSX warp, you have to do it at the exact time. So that becomes extremely complicated.
Alright, and P3. Platinum for that one was 500,000, by the way, and upcoming is 240.
And for the half pipe it was 800,000.
Right, yeah, we forgot the half pipe as well. So, to get into some movement tech about this game, I mean, you're snowboarding, so it's kind of, you're going on the mountain regardless of what you're doing, it's just how fast are you doing it. Also, I need this knockdown before I can focus on anything else. There you go.
There you go.
Just punch that kid, it's fine.
Yeah. Violence against children is the norm in these mid-early 2000s SSX games. So, some of the movement tech, sometimes you'll see me be doing a spin as I'm about to land. That is because when you spin as you're about to land, you spin out and you get this this interesting animation. And this interesting animation, if you pull on the left stick at about the correct window, there's probably about a 4 or 5 frame window you can do it, then you can get a significant speed boost going forwards because the animation, and you basically make your character slingshot out of the spin. So it looks quite cool when done right. It is called a spin boost and is really only attempted by top players. It might look easy, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to spin out and either lose all your momentum, absolutely, or spin right into a bunch of rocks or a patch of trees or off the map or what have you.
Yeah, you're also seeing a lot of slight warps in this map as well, so again, those are all intentional.
Yeah, all of them. I did make one mistake, but...
Yeah, well, not that one. We'll not talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're also not going to talk about that. Missed a pretty big skip. This one's called forced skip, and up here is hairpin turn skip. Together, those two make quite a bit of time. Quite a bit of time indeed. So we got hairpin turn, so it's not all bad. Missing forced skip is a big hit, but hey, happens sometimes. Right. So, coming up here, I'm going to show off, this is the only track where this is properly useful. Some tracks in this game, the finish lines kind of curve out of where they're supposed to be, so you can actually finish earlier than the finish line should suggest. So I'm going to finish here. If you kept an eye on the little map, if you want to call it that, on the left, you would see I wasn't due to finish for another 0.5, 0.6, 0.7 seconds. So that is pretty cool. Figured I'd show that off. Here is the throne, the last backcountry, and the summit of the mountain, actually. So this is the top of the whole shebang right here. Once again, punch a character to get your boost, and then here we go. So when we get to do the Old Peak race later, this is going to be the first track. So I have seen this track a lot. So much, in fact, that I'm kind of sick of this color palette in general. Even artworks that use this color palette just kind of bleh. But no, it is still a fun track. And probably one of the more optimized ones. Platinum for it is 235, by the way.
And for gratitude, it was
240. I think I listed that one though. Go. So the thing about this game is that it's kind of less about executing big tricks and big skips. It's more like for each run you have 500 different things and you try to make as many of those 500 things go in your favor as possible. So any one of those 500 things can go wrong and can lose you time, and I've never seen a run where one of those 500 things doesn't go wrong, either due to your own fault or due to the game just kind of having it out for you that day. The game can kind of have it out for you sometimes. what can happen sometimes, I haven't seen it yet in this run, but what can happen is if you're turning kind of sharply, especially if you're not turning the way your character is facing at the moment, if part of their hitbox hits the ground when it's not supposed to, they will just wipe out and die right there on the spot. So that is pretty annoying when it happens. So, getting Super Uber every track. I have a specific timing for Super Uber, by the way. That's going to come more into play in the all-peak race run. But for now, just kind of know that I don't get the Super Uber whenever. I know when I need to get it, and I know when I really don't want it. And I'm probably going to mess it up at least once, but we'll hope for that not to happen.
Yeah, it's not necessarily just a case of getting it as quick as possible every time. So there are some sections you don't want it for, and yeah, as I said, you'll see that massively in the all-peak race, to the point where the Super Ubering timing in the single events and in the all-peak race are pretty drastically different. It's so satisfying punching people in this game.
It is, yeah, it really is. Yeah, it is very good having this game back in a marathon. Last time it made an appearance was at ESA 2014, shortly after having made one at SGDQ 2014. But the game has progressed so much since then, an obscene amount in fact. So it is very exciting to be able to show off all the new things that have happened in the last, year and a half basically. That it has been actively played and actively streamed as well. So yeah.
There's a pretty strong community for it at the moment. And a lot of great streams to watch. I'd highly recommend them. They're super relaxing. The guys are getting scarily good at this game as well, like really driving down times. Partly why it's back in a marathon, I suppose. But is there anyone you want to say hey to as well? Like,
yeah, I mean, I want to just kind of give a shout out to the entire community at large. It is really a great community, so. But I suppose I should definitely send some shout-outs to Ritvik and Odekung, who are both also excellent runners of this game. They don't really do runs of this category, but they do the all-peak race we're going to be running later. And Odekung actually has a tied world record with me on that run at 16:52. The thing is, his decimal is actually lower, so technically that would be world record, but we do consider, since we use the in-game timer, we do consider instances like that ties.
And that was the platinum medal.
Yep, of 1.2 million. So you would see the last 10 times I got nearly 1 million points in a single jump, so.
which pretty much gives you the platinum.
It pretty much gives you it outright, yeah.
It's probably a bit risky to do it at the very end of the track, but that's the fastest. So, right. So, got a little bit of. Oh, hang on, I'm confused. Never mind.
Alright. Well, never mind. So this big air track is really pretty cool. Not only does it have like this dark, gritty aesthetic, but there are natural hazards all over, and it's also the place in the game where a casual player will most likely get the most air they've ever got. We're not going to be going there, but over here there is a massive ramp where you get, you're basically guaranteed to get 8 or 9 seconds of airtime. And that is much too much, which is 200,000 once again, as all other big airs have been.
It was pretty straightforward.
It was, yeah. So here is Perpendiculous.
Which is the last half pipe of the game, so like in the 2 previous half pipes, he will try to go for the combo building at the beginning of the track.
So what you'll watch here is the combo building up much quicker than you'd expect it to. You see it jumping 5, 4, 3, 4, 5 times. You also notice a good example of the combo score here, the way it multiplies. You didn't get that many points despite having a huge amount of combo, but you can see the way it just flies up. That's crucial to doing these no major glitches freestyle runs.
Definitely is, yeah. There is also this thing called the rail glitch, which lets you get combo a lot faster, but because you can exploit it in another way, it is actually banned in NMG runs. But it is fully viable if anyone wants to do like no holds barred freestyle runs, which would be interesting to see. We haven't seen any of that.
There you go.
Right,
Pretty quick
so
million.
Pretty quick million, yeah. So I was 900k for that, and here is the final track.
So what happens with the combos thing there is you're basically layering multiple tricks on top of each other, and the game's getting a little bit confused as to what to do with it, so it just gives you all of them, which is pretty handy, really.
Sure is. Helps, makes my job easier. Simon's calling me out. That he is. I have a feeling he's gonna regret that in about 210 from now? Yeah, about 210 from now. So back on throne to end the run off. Just kind of relax.
Again, no real trick grinding in the jam events, the Happiness, Ruthless, and Throne. Just kind of race and do tricks on the way down.
Yeah. The thing is with this one, the platinum goal is 600,000, which is kind of difficult to get just going down the mountain. So what I'll do is I'll settle for having about 50 to 70,000 through most of this section, and then when I get to where jumps are big and plentiful, then I start doing my monster tricks. And I hold the combo throughout the entire thing as well, so that I get the maximum amount of points. So for instance, I do slow down to do this, but it is still the fastest option. Get a monster trick there, and just kind of keep doing it like that, really. That was a close one. Yep. Just barely clutched that out. It is extremely exhilarating when you're really close to wiping out and you still manage to land the trick, especially if you're pulling a really sick trick that's gonna bank you a lot of points. It really does capture that feeling. Right. And one of the final drops. That's probably the final big jump we will be doing. So that should be me done, and is.
Yes.
Done with the points, not done with the run quite yet. We're getting there though.
So normally time should be in like 10 to 15 seconds.
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly.
And audio bully to end it off if I can. Yeah. All right then, everyone. Time. 42:12.
Aside from the reset at Schizophrenia, that was pretty good.
That was a solid run, yeah. So the current world record for this category is 40:45, which is a pretty solid run. There's still a lot of improvements to be made, but a 42:12 run in a marathon is solid. I am very much happy with that. So I guess now what we do is move on to the All Peak race, yeah?
But that's not all, right? So we had a donation incentive to do the All Peak race as well. The single event shows off the game a lot for a lot of people who played the game before, but All Peak race is kind of what the runners like to play. And it would be a bit cruel if we just showed you that and then didn't show you the All Peak race, which was arguably the big draw to SSX for a lot of people. In this game, we're entering Conquer the Mountain mode, which you may remember from playing the game. The whole map is linked together. It's one giant zone, different routes down a mountain, exactly like in a real mountain, in a real ski resort. So one of the big parts of it is you can board the entire mountain from start to finish, which is what's going to happen now. You may notice the estimate on the stream is very high. That's because we're using game time for this, so don't worry about it. Yeah, off we go, and you switch to Kaori.
Yep, I switched to Kaori. She is technically kind of an inferior character, but I know she's a fan favorite among the SSX community, and even outside of it too, so I figured I'd switch over to her, see what's up, hear some of her Japanese quotes. We especially love when she utters sugoi, so keep your ears peeled for that. And yeah, this is the All Peak race, which is the primary speedrun category for this game, and certainly the one with the most competition and most active players. It is the favorite category of many, because you get to go down the entire mountain, and you go through most of the tracks seamlessly without a single loading screen. So this is going to be very smooth from top to bottom, and this is probably a very memorable event for many people who played this as children or young adults or whenever you played this game, where you could basically just set aside half an hour and go down the mountain at your own pace and see what you could put together, tricks-wise and time-wise.
So yeah, what you're probably noticing, people really keeping a key eye on it, the Super Uber timings will be very different here. You'll see stations in a moment. These are the kind of in-between areas, and it's absolutely imperative that you have Super Uber for those. Probably the biggest difference between a really, really good player and someone who's, you know, a normal person, normal human being of this game, will be how they get through stations. It's so much faster when the player's good. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you're used to seeing stations in this game, you'll, well, save for any mistakes I might make, you'll see me zooming through them. That's definitely what I'm going to be trying to do anyway.
So yeah, you still see the signs here, entering a station, so this is kind of the in-between area.
So these station sections are really flat, and there's not much going on, except for there are generally rails littered everywhere throughout these sections. So that is your main way of keeping speed, and that's particularly why you need Super Uber. So as you saw there, we use in-game time for this run, but the run has in-game splits, which you just saw pop up on the screen. So if you kind of get nervous when you know you're on a good run and want to avoid splits for that reason, you're kind of screwed in this game, or at least in this run. But basically, the splits work in the way that they compare to your rivals in-game time, because this is an event where kind of the story is that your rival has set a time on this run, and it is your objective to beat that run. So that is how far ahead of him I am currently. It is not how far ahead I am of PB or world record or anything like that. It's how far I am ahead of that guy. And spoiler alert, by the end of this run, we're going to be at least 5 minutes behind. Ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
5 minutes behind would not be good.
Do you think this is a good time for a donation or two?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Alright, we have a $5 donation from __ saying, Twitch isn't that bad after all, but I still prefer when you stream on YouTube. Good luck for the run. And we have another $5 from Gaunt Brother. Hype Mad Monkey flavor. I hope first bad boost won't happen this time in the APR run deck. Less RNG.
So just continuing gratitude. This is an instance of where I actually messed up my Super Uber timing. I think it should still be fine, it's just I'll have to get my tricks in some unorthodox spots. I am well prepared for that though. I played this game more than most, to say the least. I played this game quite a bit, and just this specific run, I probably have at least a couple thousand hours into, so. Lots of gameplay, so lots of time to make mistakes and find out what works and what doesn't. That time we got forest skip, so forest skip properly executed saves about 6 seconds, so it's a pretty big deal, especially in the shorter run. Of course, when we get one, we miss the other. Can't have your cake and eat it too, I suppose. There's not really much to commentate here, except I am starting to get my tricks. Actually, missing that one skip was actually kind of good, because now I've got my tricks back at a normal time, so we're good now. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. And then I will be getting Super Uber shortly as well. So here's the next station section, where basically it's just a bunch of tight rail timings and impressive looking jumps. So hopefully you will enjoy the show on that one. It is a good time for donations though, if there are any. Missed rail to rail.
So yeah, you can see the basic premise of the stations there. It's usually an Uber grind or something like that. Uber grind's basically just a super trick for a grind. They got the added benefit of turning your board horizontal.
Yeah.
So you can grab other rails more easily. You'll see a bit more of that. Well, you've seen a bunch of it in this run already, but yeah, this allows you to then fly through these areas. Without this, you can very quickly lose momentum. If you don't have boost, going through this area takes Way too long. It's less than a minute for someone good, or can be 2 to 2.5 minutes for someone who's messed up pretty badly. So.
And about turning the board's hitbox, that's actually very important in this game, because not only can you manipulate your hitbox to make it sideways and make it more likely that you hit rails, but you can also use the back of the board, because the back of the board actually doesn't have a hitbox full stop. So what you can do is, if you time your jump at the right time, you can go through snow that you would normally hit. So I will make use of that a couple of times in this run. It is really only fringe useful. It's cool and all, but it's not really a big deal. It's just kind of cool to do.
And
Go through stuff that should normally be there.
And this is an example of the select works we were talking about earlier.
Out of bounds shortcut.
And
Not actually out of bounds though. Just the game refers to its in-game shortcuts as out of bounds.
The real out of bounds is a bit different.
Yeah, it is. It is. Out of bounds in the form of wormholes where you just fall through the track and spawn up at a later location. So the reason why there's no real interest for glitched runs of this game, there is some, but it is, it's fair to say it's just plain and simple a more boring category. You skip out on a lot of prime track for riding on, and even in addition to that, like, you also have to kind of just spend time falling, and who really wants to do that when there's video games to be played? Right, so I'm one trick down on my Super Uber timing through this section, but that shouldn't be a problem. I am, however... So this is a fairly risky thing to do here. You can very easily wipe out there from not finishing your trick in time. There I actually made use of something where, when you're about to finish a trick, if you pull the left stick up, your character will finish the trick sooner. They will kind of use the left stick input and turn more than they would normally. Red Station. This one probably looks the most impressive if you do it right, because it is so incredibly smooth and so incredibly fast, where if you catch all of these rails, it just looks beautiful.
Yeah, early jumping off the rail there to go catch another one off to the side.
Yep.
That's some sweet stuff.
Yep. So Intimidator is coming up again. Now, I'm over one big skip on this ESA run, but I'm going to try it again. I'm going to get another shot. So that right there is a good example of a spin boost. If I didn't do that spin boost, I would be going through this section about 20-30 kilometers slower than I did. So by basically slingshotting the character out of the spin like that, it would save quite a bit of time across the flat area going towards the track. Right, here's big skip. Normally when we fail big skip, we call it big slip, so... Hooray!
Nice.
Good stuff. Excellent big skip. Alright, cool. Now all that's needed is to get good spawn in Metro, and we've got the entire RNG package on lock. I will, however, need to regain my boost, so there's that. So, perfect. And then I have to get at least 2 tricks here. Would have been nice to get 3, but... here is a tube skip again. The tube skip is an even bigger time save in this run than the last one. Heck, it was a big time save in that one, but in this one it's kind of... If you miss tube skip, regardless of how good your run is otherwise, you're most likely not going to world record these days. Because the world record, especially for this run, is actually highly optimized. A lot more than you would probably think, given this game has a relatively short history and has had a pretty small community for a majority of its lifetime.
Yeah, there was some active running for this game when it first came out. There's still a bunch of old YouTube videos of people pointing their digital camera at a TV, at a CRT, beautiful black bands and everything, low quality, and some really great early 2000s music.
I pointed my webcam at the screen all the way back in 2011.
Everyone did. Well, some people did it a bit earlier than that. But yeah, then it kind of, you know, as with most games, kind of stopped scene sort of stuff. And then quite a few people who were runners in other games liked this game, owned this game, and did a few runs of stuff. But it's only really recently it's had a big revival. So as you said, about a year and a half ago.
Pretty much, and it's been ever growing since. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to ensure I get 2 tricks on this rail. So I can't do this rail as fast as I normally would, so I'm going to have to wait it out for a bit and then I can go. If I miss Super Uber here, that's probably one of the worst places to miss Super Uber, because you lose out on a whole ton of time. Because this station right here, Green Station, is very rail based. And once again, 450, that's a solid time. If there are any donations, this would be a good time.
Sadly, we don't have any more donations right now, but a quick reminder, we're still raising money, obviously, for Save the Children, and we're currently at 54,000. And all the donations with the match, and all the donations until 90,000, which is because of the match, 45,000 will be matched. All right. Sorry.
Wow.
Was confused.
It's alright, it's pretty late. It's okay, don't worry about it.
That right there was a nasty example of thick snow. So I was talking about how there are different kinds of snow earlier, and you just saw me. I ended up too far off to the side and through the awfully thick snow. It brought me down to 40 kilometers an hour when I want to be going at least 90. So yeah, pretty big deal that. Right, so here's Snow Jam again. Looks way different this time. I'm also going to be trying a strat I didn't do last time, where I'm going to be trying to squeeze under a billboard. Hopefully it's going to work. Nice. Ooh, I hit the billboard, but I got it. So
yeah, Snow Jam's a good example of a track where like the all-peak race really changes the route. So quite a lot of differences, especially in the early phase of it, just because you've got the boost.
Yeah, normally you wouldn't have Super Uber until up here, up just what we passed, so you can do a lot of things you wouldn't otherwise do. Make use of rail lines and such. More monster tricks for Flare. Here's this long rail again. So basically, I mean, it is much of the same, as you can see, but it does change as well. And obviously the entire dynamic of the run changes, because not only is it a shorter run, so kind of stamina and focus is not really less of an issue, but it's kind of, you probably won't have to concern yourself with it, because it's, if you play it right, it's only going to be 16, 17 minutes, so yeah. And here you go. For once in this all-peak race run, Super Uber is, that train's not late right now, so that's good. And get on this rail. Getting on that rail, there's more to that than meets the eye, and also I just got early Super Uber. There is more to that rail than meets the eye. It tends to be one of the hardest tricks for new runners to pull, or at least one of the way harder ones. A lot of people tend to trouble getting on that rail and executing that properly.
So normally he's supposed to land that Super Uber with the trick it just did.
Yeah, but he'll get through this anyway because he's good.
Yeah, I'll just have to conserve my boost. So we have a 6:16 split here, so we are essentially 6 minutes and 16 seconds ahead of my rival, and we are on pace for about a mid-17 right now.
So around something like 30 to 40 seconds behind the world record.
Yeah, currently.
And incredibly good for this run.
Yeah, 30 seconds, yeah. Solid time. Guess we're just going to jump over that rail I actually wanted. That's okay though. So I'm going to run out of Super Uber here, so what I have to do is I have to conserve my boost so that I won't run out here, because running out here would be a bad time in more ways than one, both figuratively and literally.
There's an example there of when doing a monster trick's a good idea for speed too. The boost of points gives you a big boost of boost too.
Yeah,
so
it really does. It any monster trick, as long as you as long as you get full points for it, will fill your boost bar from top to bottom. So
We're trying these boos again.
we are back. Good first. If I get good second, and I got big skip in the same run, that's the god run. It's incredibly rare. I think 1 in 25, maybe even less.
Too bad.
4 luck. So I just select out of bad spawn because it's faster to go to the left and grab this rail instantly. I see people are predicting in the chat. I think their predictions are pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna leave it up to the surprise.
Predicting all peak race times is a firm, was a strong pastime of SSX chats.
It sure was, yeah.
It sure is.
Sure is, yeah.
Still.
Still. And I'm 1 for 1 on third boot, and we're going to try to do it again, and that's basically kind of the last thing that can impact my time, really any, so I got it.
And good.
So all is good. Looking poised for about a really good time, actually.
Should be like a 17:25.
Something like that. And here we go. Grab the speed boost. And if I can... Nah, I missed it. I wanted to jump up behind the podium.
Nice.
So 17:22, that is a solid time. And we unlocked the cheat
We
character.
unlocked couldn't. Oh, the cow. Great.
The cow, yeah.
Woo, cheers. Great.
Maybe
cool.
I should do... is there time for a glitch exhibition?
Let me do some quick maths in my head. Show off. You can show off a wormhole if you wish, and then
We
we'll
can
get
show
rolling.
off a wormhole, ask Cudmore.
Go
That is
for
what
it.
we'll do. The cheat characters in this game are absolutely wild. We're gonna be a cow. You can also be a yeti, or a beaver,
Or
or
an
a basketball
astronaut.
player. Yeah, you can be. Like, you can be more things here than you most likely can be in real life.
That's probably true.
Like, you can't. If there's one thing you can't fault the SSX people on, it's their imagination. There is absolutely nothing to fault there. Alright, so cow coming up when the load screen subsides. And then I'm just going to plain and simple show off a wormhole real quick. An example of one. So here's the cow. You see, he's riding on a plank of wood, you know.
I think it's a fence. I think it's meant to be the.
That's what you do. It's a fence, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a snowflake too, so this cow is doing well for himself. Just made $2,000, probably more than most cows ever will. He's still doing the animation the character does, by the way, so it's just a reskin, basically. Right, so, wormhole. He's also got the same tricks and everything. It's basically the same character, except, you know, reskin as a cow. So, right, gotta turn around, grab this rail. What you want to do is you want to grab the rail, like what I'm not doing right now. Yeah,
I
it's
think
very
it's pretty much
difficult to.
reset.
It's very difficult to get back up there if you first fail it. So, what happened was, I angled myself incorrectly and then missed the angle I wanted to take. So, that can happen sometimes.
Right, we have 2 donations. One from Oh My FG Cobb, donating $5 saying, "You're only running SKRE to make me feel like I have to throw money at you, aren't you, Daggy?"
Well, not at me. It's going to charity. It's going to a good cause, so don't worry about that. All right.
Oh.
No, I hate when that happens. Sometimes that rail basically disappears into nothingness, so. Now I have to rebuild boost, so. Alright, let's try that again. Come on, cow. You got this.
How long is this glitch exhibition?
Well, depends on my execution. It was supposed to be done a little bit ago, but that is okay, so. If it keeps going, I suppose we'll just... That might get it. No, you want to end
no.
up all the way over there, so. Getting this wormhole doesn't tend to be quite this difficult. The rail just is not having it right now, so. We'll do one more attempt, and then
Yeah.
if no luck, we'll cut it there. Okay. One more try.
Nah,
Doesn't
too
look
bad.
like it. Well, so yeah, no wormhole, but that's okay. Actually, all right.
All right.
Yep, that's it then. So thank you everyone.
Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Daggy.
Hope you enjoyed the run, and yeah.
So see ya.
All right. Da-da-da-da-da, my summer car.
My summer car. Get excited.
Welcome back, guys. I'm so excited to unbox today's toy. This is my baby doll. Yay! There's a pink pacifier, and then she has a pretty white hat. Looks kind of fluffy. And she has some really pretty blue eyes, as you can see. Okay, guys, let's unbox this thing. So, this is a styrofoam. It looks like it comes with some sort, I don't know what this is. It says, pregnant, not pregnant. There's a card. Maybe it's instructions. Every 2 seconds, a girl somewhere around the world gives birth. Girls can have babies?
All right. So now we'll have the very much
Anticipated.
my summer car. Where
Past the inspection.
past inspection. Yes, that's what I was about to say. Where your goal is to build your own car from scrap, more or less.
Don't spoil.
I'm just
Let's just.
giving the people what the goal is, and then you have to pass an inspection, which is in the title.
We got a donation. I swear I did not donate this myself.
And we have a $10 anonymous donation saying, for a better future for the children, and because morale is so cute.
Thank you.
I can confirm she did actually not donate that one. For once.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know about all the other ones. So.
What? I didn't do any of the other ones like that. Have you donated to the event yet?
I have not.
You have not?
But I did a run, isn't that a donation in a way?
Yeah, your run was really popular.
I helped raise at least like $200
Yeah.
on the second streams.
Actually 400 with the match.
Yes.
So everyone at home, as you know, we're fundraising and we still have not met our 45K match. I know it might seem a little bit confusing considering this says 54,000, but this is already with the match included. So help us get that 45 full match, 45K full match.
Until it says 90K in that corner down there.
And then God will twerk for you guys. And then we band and then there's
Why
no
not?
more ESA.
Also, speaking of donations, we currently don't know what our little plant, well, little, but you know, the plant to the right is called here. So the next person to donate $20 and suggest a name for the plant will get the naming rights for that plant.
Also, he gets a shower.
Oh yeah, we will actually give the plant some water.
Yeah.
Well, Morale will give the plant
Yeah.
some water.
I've never watered the plant, so I really want to.
Yeah, last time it was my duty, and this time you
Yeah.
get to water the plant.
Yeah. All right. So God knows a bit about this game coming up. My summer car. I don't, because Tyr, one of the runners, didn't want me to know.
Yeah, well, it might not be a triple A game, but it is a very good game in the way that it's very entertaining if you see the speedrun of it. So
And apparently, if you don't know about it before, perhaps that is the better way to experience it, apparently. I'm told.
that is true for a lot of those kind of games where you're not really sure what's going to happen because it's not like normal games in a way.
Look at that chat. Everyone is so hyped for my summer car. I knew this game was hype.
I told you, look, there. It's a pretty good
Yeah,
crowd
we've got
as
a
well.
we've got a good crowd
Is
here.
everyone excited here? Yeah, that's the spirit.
Nice. All right, they're still setting up. So this is a race, right?
This is a race. Tyrionet versus Shrimp. France versus Scotland. And we'll see how
Who do
that
you think
goes.
will win, chat? I think Tyr.
Well,
Sorry, Shrimp.
well,
You didn't bring Beethoven
I'm
this year. I'm deeply disappointed.
I'm rooting for Shrimp then.
Oh, so you weren't gonna root for Shrimp, but you picked him. You pity picked him.
No.
Did you hear that, Shrimp?
No. I know that Shrimp is better.
Is he?
I don't
no.
actually. I'm not actually sure. They both did quite a bit of practice today, so I hope it's actually gonna be funny and close, not just funny. Yeah. So we just got a $5 donation from Ainon saying that feel when no girlfriend. It is truly sad.
I know that feeling on. Feels bad, man.
So bad, man.
Right, we also have a bid war.
Oh yes.
Almost forgot
for,
about that.
For this run, we have a bid war, and there's two options, and one of them would be me kissing Tyrionet, and the other option would be Morale kissing Tyrionet. And I think as of now, until now, I've been leading with by $30 or $40.
$40. I don't know what's up with that. Like,
And
I don't know what's up with
nobody
this
donated a
ESA
single dollar for Morale to kiss
to kiss
Tyrionet.
Tyrionet.
So
I love
she
Tyrionet.
already accused me that I emptied my own bank account so I could get a kiss with Tyr. I swear that's not true though.
Tyr is like one of my favorite people. So I really want to kiss him.
So you're saying that people should donate so you can kiss your favorite
Yeah.
person.
I just gotta say one thing though. Like, what is up with this ESA and everybody kissing? It's kind of weird. It's a little bit.
And you want to join in, right? You want to be part of that.
I do.
But what about me? If you're part of it, I'm not part of it.
This is true. Oh, we got a $20 donation from Sphere saying the plant's name is Movement. Thank you, Sphere.
All right. The plant will be named Movement. So not that it's just the plain water, I got water as well. Okay,
We're ready
looks like
for
tech is
my
ready.
summer car.
Here comes the best run of ESA, my summer car.
Type in the chat who you're voting for, Shrimp or Tyr. I'm Team Tyr.
Team Shrimp.
Woo!
Team Shrimp. Uh-oh.
I know that guy.
Nubis.
Oasis.
Nico.
Actually, I'll move the camera a little bit so it's
Some last moment fixes.
Yeah. Perfect leather jacket.
I will just take this second to read another donation from Anonymous donating $1 because Eidgod is actually cuter.
You donated that yourself.
I did not.
Please do not donate for Eidgod.
You know, if you say that, you're gonna donate for me. You don't understand Twitch chat, do you?
Alright, we good?
The bid war is currently at $41 for Eidgod to kiss Tyr on the cheek and $0 for Morale to kiss Tyr on the cheek. Are you ready, Tyr, for this? I mean...
Oh, by the way, when in the run would be the best time for the kiss?
Oh, is it actually going to be during the run?
I mean,
I don't know.
why not?
Okay, so there's going to be like a little bit of... it's going to be very intense for the beginning, but afterwards there's going to be about like 8 to 10 minutes of basically downtime.
Okay, so you just say when I should kiss you then.
I mean, you'll see it.
Why do you say when I should kiss you? It's like you've already decided.
Well, it's pretty clear who's going to win here.
Come
Anyway.
on, Chet. Don't let me down.
Should we...
Don't let me down.
Should we start this trip?
Are we ready? I think we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
I'm not nervous.
Should we start a timer when we said we should start it?
Yeah, when
yeah.
the drops in.
Alright, so
So
let's just
we'll count ourselves down,
Yes.
and then you can say when to start the actual timer.
Can you push the timer when we tell you to, Kotti?
Yes.
Is there 2 of them, or is there just one?
It's a right one.
Why did that minimize?
Should
Only this one.
Yeah, it should
Uh-oh.
be just this.
Uh-oh.
Don't press the red button.
What have you done, Shep?
I moved that button and Windows wanted to activate.
That one should have been activated, but whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready, Shrimp? Alright.
I think we're good, yeah.
Don't press.
Yeah, don't press yet. We're
Okay.
killing ourselves.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now?
I think I'm ready. Okay.
Can I press the button?
No, not yet. Okay. So once we've both dropped in, you press
Yeah.
the button and we'll start.
Alright.
Oh, I dropped in faster, it looks like.
Okay.
I'll wait for you. Go.
Go. Yeah, so I'm here. This is Shrimp. Commentating is Kotti and Oasis, I think.
Yep.